Hello, everyone. This is Attorney Anne. I am a certified public accountant and a certified tax technician. And my aim for these videos is to make the law clear in our minds and your minds, especially your minds. Okay, so in this video, I will be discussing VAT, but particularly the basics of VAT. As you may know, marami talaga mga complexities when it comes to value-added tax laws here in the Philippines. And that is why I will split my discussion into several parts. And of course, we are going to start with the basics muna. All right, let's go. So, who are liable to pay VAT? This one is captured from our tax code. We call it the National Internal Revenue Code. And according to our tax code, these are the persons, ito yung mga persons na liable to pay VAT. May obligation to pay VAT. So let's look at the first one. Any person who, in the course of trade or business, sells, barters, exchanges, leases goods or properties, renders services, including digital services. So etong karugtong na including digital services, this was recently added because of the passage of a new law which we commonly call as VAT on digital services. So, if you notice, I highlighted here the phrase in the course of trade or business. Kasi if one-time event lang siya, so for example, you sell something or you render a service or you have a property na you lease out to someone, but that is a one-time event, it was not made in the course of trade or business, then you are not liable to pay VAT. You are only liable to pay VAT if you do those things in the course of trade or business. If you sell something in the course of trade or business, if you make a barter transaction in the course of trade or business, that's the time that you are liable to pay VAT. Okay, so classic example, let's say you have an old laptop, okay, and you are planning to sell that old laptop para makabili ka ng bagong laptop. So, when you sell your laptop, that sale transaction was not made in the course of trade or business, right? Kasi it's just a one-time transaction at hindi mo naman talaga business na mag-sell ng laptop. It's just that my old laptop ka and you want to sell it. So, you will not fall under this description. You don't satisfy the description as found in the first item. Okay, because again, that sale was not made in the course of trade or business. And so, you are not liable to pay VAT in that transaction. All right. Or if you render a service, okay, if it's a one-time service, hindi talaga yun yung source of income mo na pag, kumbaga, profession mo talaga na gumawa ng that kind of service, then you are not liable to pay VAT. Okay? And then we have the second one, any person who imports goods. So this pertains to importation. So if you buy something from a supplier or a seller that is from outside the Philippines, we call it importation. Yung buyer andito sa Philippines, yung seller outside of the Philippines. So if you import something, then you are liable to pay VAT. Now, take note, dito sa number 2, ha, wala tayong tinatawag na in the course of trade or business. So what does that mean? It means that kahit na yung importation mo is a purely personal transaction, let's say you bought something na you will be using personally, hindi sa business mo, you are still liable to pay VAT. Because again, any person who imports goods without any qualification, wala nang karugtong na in the course of trade or business. As long as you are a buyer here in the Philippines and you buy something from a supplier outside the Philippines, kahit na it was not made in the course of trade or business, you are still liable to pay VAT if it pertains to an importation. Okay? Because again, when it comes to importation kasi, the goods will pass through the customs, no, Bureau of Customs. And in that place, they will be assessing some charges. We have import duties and also VAT on importation. So you'll have to pay VAT on importation kahit na that importation was not made in the course of trade or business. It's clear. So, but if you sell. So if you sell something, enter into barter transactions, exchanges, and so on in the course of trade, or kailangan it was made in the course of trade or business for you to become liable to pay VAT. Okay, so let's zoom in on this one, in the course of trade or business. In the course of trade or business. What do we mean by in the course of trade or business? It means the regular conduct or pursuit of of a commercial or an economic activity, including transactions incidental thereto by any person. Okay, so yung keyword natin here is regular, meaning you regularly do it. There is that frequency, ilang beses mo na ginagawa yan. That is your usual na ginagawa sa business mo. So that should be a regular conduct. And also, I'd like to emphasize here as well, including transactions incidental there too. So let's have an example. Okay. So for example, you have a business, let's say printing t-shirts, okay? So yung mga customized na prints sa t-shirt. So yan yung regular conduct or pursuit of your business. You sell customized t-shirts na may mga customized prints. Okay, so whenever you make a sale, so let's say my client ka na nagpagawa ng 50 pieces of customized t-shirts, then na-satisfy mo na yung first na description doon, no? You made a sale in the course of trade or business. Now, what if you want to replace your old printer? So, of course, my printer ka for the t-shirts, but you want to replace it with a new one. Okay, so when you sell your printer, ang question ko doon is, business mo ba talaga na mag-sell ng printer? Again, the answer is no. Okay? The answer is no. But that sale of your printer is considered a transaction incidental to your regular conduct. And since it's an incidental transaction, that can still be imposed with VAT. May VAT pa rin in that transaction. Okay? So, for you to become liable to pay VAT, based on what we have discussed so far, ito yung tatlong requisites. Okay? There must be a sale or lease in the Philippines. Then the sale or lease must be of taxable goods, services, or properties, because later on we will discuss na meron pa ring mga sale or lease transactions kahit na made in the course of trade or business. Exempt sila from VAT kasi specifically mentioned by our tax code na exempt sila sa VAT. And then must be made by a vatable person in the ordinary course of business. So ito yung sabi ko, ito yung qualification na kailangan, it's made in the ordinary course of business, in the regular course of business. Okay, in the course of business. Now, who is this vatable person? Okay, must be made by a vatable person. Okay, so when we speak of vatable person, we look at certain thresholds kasi 'di ba I just recently mentioned na there are transactions na kahit na sale or lease pa siya in the ordinary course of business, magiging exempt pa rin siya sa VAT. Okay, so you will become a vatable person if you reach the following thresholds. Okay, so ito yung pinaka-common. If your gross sales or gross receipts for a certain year, okay, exceeds 3 million, then you are required to be VAT registered and you will be treated as a vatable person. Okay? So 3 million yung threshold natin. So if you reach, if your gross sales or gross receipts exceed the 3 million threshold, then you are now required to be registered as a VAT person or a VAT taxpayer. Okay, gross sales, ang tawag natin, if your business is into selling goods or properties. So, may tangible product ka, okay, that you are selling. Gross receipts naman, on the other hand, refers to a business na engage into the provision of services. So, services yung business mo, hindi na gross sales ang tawag natin dyan, kundi gross receipts. But either way, even if it's gross sales or gross receipts, yung 3 million pa rin yung threshold natin. So, if nakalagpas na yung gross sales or gross receipts mo for that certain year, nalagpas ng 3 million, you are now treated as a vatable person and so you are required to pay VAT. Okay. How about for sale of low cost or socialized housing? So yung 2 million threshold natin pertains to a per selling price. Hindi yung total gross sales ng business. Kung hindi, selling price of each of the house and lot. Okay? If you notice, meron tayong mga low cost or socialized housing. Off the top of my head, yung Deca Homes. Okay? Diba? We have Deca homes all over the Philippines, especially in Cebu. Here in Cebu, I'm in Cebu. Maraming Deca homes dito. Doon din sa Leyte, I actually bought before a house and lot in Ormoc, Leyte from Deca homes. And then it's classified as a low cost or socialized housing. And the selling price for that property is actually just 1 million. So yung entire house and lot is just 1 million. So in that case, since the selling price of the house and lot did not exceed 2 million, that transaction, yung pagbili ko, di ba? It's a sale transaction. Pagbili ko, wala siyang VAT. Okay? Wala siyang VAT. Take note dito, again, it's on a per unit basis. So each unit of house and lot should not exceed 2 million selling price para maging exempt siya sa VAT. Kasi if it exceeds 2 million yung selling price ng unit, then it has VAT. Okay. I also have a client, for example, that sells house and lot units, and then the price varies. So for example, yung may mga simple house and lot lang na yung selling price hindi lagpas ng 2 million. So if in case my client was able to sell that quote unquote cheaper house and lot, wala siyang VAT. But meron din naman silang mga units na malaki and mas mahal. So if the selling price of that certain unit exceeds 2 million, then may VAT na for that unit. Okay. So this is on a selling price basis on a per unit. Ito naman, the 3 million is yung total gross sales or gross receipts. Now, when it comes to leases, okay, lease of a residential unit, yung mga apartments, yung mga boarding houses. So if the rent per month of each unit pa rin does not exceed 15,000, then exempt siya sa VAT. However, if lagpas ng 15,000 per month yung lease of a residential unit, take note, this is a residential unit ha, kasi if commercial unit, wala siyang VAT exempt na threshold na ganito. Okay, so this is for a residential unit. So if lagpas ng 15,000 per month ang rent for each unit, then the business becomes vatable. Okay, so the lessor, yung may-ari ng mga apartments na nagpaparenta, will become liable to pay VAT. Okay, this one, a higher threshold, but particularly for those franchisees of radio and or TV broadcasting. So instead of the 3 million ordinary na threshold sa kanila is 10 million yung threshold nila. Okay. So if hindi lagpas ng 10 million ang gross receipts nila for that year, then they will not become liable to pay VAT. However, if lagpas ng 10 million yung gross receipts nila for that year, then they become liable to pay VAT. Okay? But atong second, third, and fourth bullet points, ito medyo yung more complicated na mga thresholds. And most of the time, for exam purposes, this is just to distinguish top-notcher from a regular passer. Okay, so but most of the time, what is being asked is just this one. So ito lang yung kailangan natin na bala when it comes to answering questions sa either accounting na subject or law na subject. Okay, so eto, 3 million. So if hindi lagpas ng 3 million, ang gross sales or gross receipts for that year, then it's VAT exempt. But if lagpas ng 3 million, then it is already a VAT, it is the business or the taxpayer will now become liable to pay VAT. Okay? So I hope it's clear in our minds at this point. Now, di ba we've mentioned a while ago that kailangan it was made in the course of trade or business, ordinary course of trade or business. So that ruling, di ba, we actually defined it a while ago na when we say in the course of trade or business, kailangan regular conduct or pursuit of an economic activity. So regular conduct, we actually call it the rule of regularity. Okay. So, rule of regularity means na kailangan yung sale, barter exchange, lease, transaction, rendering of services was made in the course of trade or business, meaning to say there is a regular conduct or pursuit. So that's the rule of regularity. So however, there is an exception to that rule. Okay. So, meaning to say, if it's an exception to the rule of regularity, kahit na hindi siya regular conduct or pursuits of business, wala masyadong frequency of doing that. It's still considered as a vatable transaction because it's an exception. And what is that transaction? So, if there are services rendered in the Philippines by non-resident foreign persons, shall be considered as being rendered in the course of trade or business. So, if there is daw a particular service that is being rendered in the Philippines, but yung gumawa ng service, nag-render ng service is someone who is a non-resident foreign person, kahit na one-time event lang daw yan, kahit na one-time service lang yan that is rendered in the Philippines, so, meaning hindi siya mafo-fall under sa rule of regularity. Exception kasi siya. So, meaning vatable pa rin yung transaction na yan kahit na one-time event lang siya. Okay? Provided that digital services, so this one is also added, recently added because of the passage of the VAT on digital services. So, provided that digital services delivered by non-resident digital service providers shall be considered performed or rendered in the Philippines if the digital services are consumed in the Philippines. Kasi 'di ba sabi dito, para maging exception siya to the rule of regularity, kailangan yung services daw rendered in the Philippines. But the next question is, what if yung service is digital in nature? When can we say na rendered pa rin siya sa Philippines? So it's answered through this paragraph, meaning if it's a digital service, we will consider it as rendered in the Philippines if the digital services are consumed in the Philippines. Okay? All right. So, how to compute VATs? Okay, so just very simple. We know that the VAT rate here in the Philippines is 12%. So we have a 12% VAT. So for example, we have a gross selling price of 100 pesos exclusive of VAT, meaning wala pang VAT, okay? Exclusive of VAT, this is the gross selling price. Ito, gross selling price. So it's 100 plus the 12% VAT. So 12% of 100 is 12 pesos. So it now becomes 100 plus 12 pesos equals 112. So itong 112, this is what we call as the invoice price. Okay? So the gross selling price, yung term na gross selling price, this is the price that is exclusive of VAT, na hindi pa kasama yung VAT. So ito yung gross selling price, then the VAT component is equal to the invoice price. So if you see in one of the problems na you're trying to answer, if the term used is invoice price, kung ang sabi doon invoice price, that means it's the price inclusive of VAT. But if the problem says gross selling price, that means that price is exclusive of VAT. Okay, so it must be clear in our minds that gross selling price is exclusive of VAT, invoice price is inclusive of VAT, such that ito na yung formula natin, no? Gross selling price plus VAT is equal to invoice price. So from this formula, we can actually decipher, no? Ano ba yung tax base ng VAT? Saan natin i-multiply yung VAT rate? So yung yung tax base natin is our gross selling price. Okay? The tax base is our gross selling price. Doon natin i-multiply yung VAT rate na 12%. Okay. So for example, in this sale transaction, ito yung buyer, let's say ito yung seller. So yung pinatong na 12% VAT is actually referred to as VAT output on the perspective of the seller. On the other hand, on the perspective of the buyer, this 12% VAT is called VAT input. Okay, so sa books of accounts ni seller will record this 12% VAT as VAT output. And then on the books of accounts of the buyer, this 12% VAT will be recorded as VAT input. Okay. So let's try to compute. Again, basic lang muna tayo dito na video ha. So let's say you are selling something, you want to sell some shoes, and your base price or your gross selling price is 4,599.75 pesos. So question is, how much is the VAT for this one and how much is the total invoice price? So again, as mentioned a while ago, we have VAT here in the Philippines at 12% rate and the tax base is the gross selling price. Okay, ito yung gross selling price. So ito yung tax base natin. This is where we will multiply the 12% VAT. So easy lang naman, diba? So you can get your calculators and then just multiply 4,599.75 pesos by 12%. So how much is the VAT? Okay, so you should be able to compute 551.97. Okay, so based on this, gross selling price is our tax base multiplied by 12%, you will get 551.97 as your VAT. So therefore, since meron na tayong gross selling price, meron na tayong amount of the VAT, we can now compute the invoice price. So how much now is the invoice price? So just add the two. So if you add 4,599.75 and 551.97, you will get 5,151.72. Ito yung invoice price. This is the amount that should be paid by the buyer, inclusive of VAT already. So this is the amount inclusive of VAT. This is the amount exclusive of VAT. All right? Now, what if yung alam natin is just the invoice price? Okay? So for example, when you try to answer an exam question on VAT, the given amount is the invoice price. And yung question is either how much daw yung amount exclusive of VAT or the gross selling price and how much is the VAT for that. So again, what we know in this example is just the invoice price. Now, based on our discussion, we've learned that the gross selling price is our tax base. And since this is the tax base, this is the 100%. Okay, this is the 100%. And we also know that the VAT rate in the Philippines is 12%. Okay, this is the tax base at 100%, our VAT at 12%. So 100% plus 12%, that only means na yung invoice price natin is 112%. Diba? 100% plus 12% obviously is 112%. So we know that this 5,000 represents 112%. So how do we get the 100% of this one? So simply divide the invoice price, now the 5,000 by 112%. Kasi again, this represents 112%. So 5,000 divided by 112%, you will get 4,464.29. And that is your gross selling price. Okay, so gross selling price, or also known as, or also referred to as the amount exclusive of VAT. excluding VAT. So that's 4,464.29. And since we already know the tax base, ito, yung gross selling price, since we already know this, then we can already compute for the 12% VAT because we know this is the tax base. So that's the VAT now is 4,464.29 times 12%. So the VAT is 535.71. If you add the two amounts, sige, get your calculators. 4,464.29 plus 535.71. Is it equal to 5,000? The answer is yes. Okay. Very good, children. All right. So great job and congratulations on practicing your basic VAT computation. Thank you everyone for listening, and I hope I made the law clear in your mind. So in my next succeeding videos, I will be discussing more complicated scenarios or concepts related to VAT. This is Attorney NCPACTT. Thank you everyone for listening. Bye-bye.